Welcome back to Game Point's nightly final night of our 4-day prime time run. We're here till the top of the hour. GamePointsRadio.com is our blog. TSN Matthew on Twitter. Marco Polo on the board. Stefano Micella across from me. We're monitoring the Red Blacks Blue Bomber game late in the third quarter. 22-20, a rouge, a one-pointer for the Red Blacks, and they open up their lead to 22-20 after scoring 3 touchdowns in the first quarter and nothing since. Blue Bombers are making it a game. We now welcome in our guest this segment. FantasySportsNetwork.com is where you can catch him weekdays. SportsRageTV.com and SportsRage on Twitter. Gabriel Morency, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. You watching the game, the CFL game?
Yeah. I've got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the over, so I need a couple of more points, and hopefully Winnipeg's comeback will be complete in about an hour's time.
What was the spread?
The Winnipeg are 4-point favorites in this game, and
that's it.
The total's 52, and it wasn't looking too good when it was 14-0. But you figure over the course of 4 quarters that Ottawa's offense will slow down a bit. You know, they're not going to score on every drive. They scored on 3 of their first 4 possessions of the football game, so you figure that they're going to slow down a little bit. And Winnipeg have been shooting themselves in the foot a lot so far this season. I expect the Bombers to come back here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Are you impressed, though, in how, I guess, cohesive the Red Blacks look so far?
Yeah, they look real good. They looked really good in the preseason. You can't take too much from the CFL preseason, but they were very impressive. They were 2-0 against the spread. I think they were 1-1 straight up in the preseason. But they've got Henry Burris as their quarterback, and their offensive line is going to have to protect him. But give Burris some time; he can throw it down the field. You figure, they're not the typical expansion team, but you still figure defensively depth will be an issue as the season goes along. So I kind of expected them to come out firing tonight. But with that being stated, I was surprised that the Bombers were only 4-point favorites, considering it's the first ever real game for the Red Blacks. But still a lot of football left to be played here tonight.
All right. Obviously, the big story of the day is what happened at Wimbledon. I don't know how closely you're following that or how excited you are to see the Canadians and how they're doing, but great story or great win today by Bouchard, and hopefully Raonic can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that Bouchard has a better chance than Milos. I know Milos is on fire right now. His serve is on fire, but so much about tennis is mental.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me just how mature Eugenie Bouchard is, how mentally tough she is. Like, she doesn't seem like a typical 20-year-old girl, besides the fact she wanted to meet Justin Bieber. Other than that, she seems to be pretty tough, and she doesn't fall apart when things aren't going her way. She's able to dig down deep and kick it into another gear. She plays beyond her age mentally. Now, she won 2012 here, the amateur championship. This, I was just saying on my show, I think this is the best opportunity for her out of all these major events for her to get it done on the grass at Wimbledon. Kvitova beat her before, and this Czech is a wrecking ball, man, and she's pretty mentally tough as well. She's on a roll right now, but Bouchard's a slight underdog. She's a plus 120 underdog. Petra's a minus 150 favorite, and I'm going to pull for the hometown girl here in Bouchard. I mean, how can I not be a fan considering she's a big Expo supporter? As far as Milos is concerned, I got a parlay with Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic combined. I think we're going to have a classic Sunday morning, afternoon, whatever, Wimbledon Classic going head-to-head with the World Cup. It's going to be international weekend here, big time. I think Roger Federer is going to win Wimbledon. I really do. I think he's got another big moment left in a glorious career, and I think this is the weekend that it happens. Milos, great run for Milos. I think Milos will eventually get there as well, but I think this is Federer's time right now. This is Federer's weekend.
You mentioned that Bouchard was an underdog tomorrow. Chris Everett picking her to win in the final. Are you? A lot of betting going on Wimbledon, especially because it's in England. Do you see that on some of those the sites that obviously are publicly traded over there? Is it a well bet on sport or event?
Yeah, to be honest, tennis is one of the most bet on sports in the world. The National Football League is the beast in North America, but tennis wagering is huge in Europe. It's also, we talked a lot about the match fixing that goes on associated with international soccer. Tennis is shady as hell as well. There's a ton of international stuff. There's a lot of second-tier tournaments that are going on. There's late-night stuff. Trust me, there's tennis 24 hours a day, Matt. And there's big money on this stuff. The Singapore cartels are in on this. It's easier to get to people when it's only, it's a one-man sport. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Davydenko has been screwing around for years. I don't know how. I think Davydenko's family were probably being held hostage with that Bergdahl dude by the Taliban or something like that. And he didn't have a choice but to be throwing matches. But there's always shady stuff. Tennis players are quitting all the time. But yeah, a long answer here is tennis is a huge sport. And I would probably state, as crazy as this sounds, the worldwide handle, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the second most bet sport, actually. You look at England, and wagering is legal in England. Tennis is, after soccer, tennis is the most popular sport. Same thing in France. You go down the list, and, in Australia, tennis is huge. In Asia, tennis is huge. When La plays, there's like 800 million people watching her. It's a huge, massive world sport, similar to soccer, in which people pay attention to the U.S. Open and Wimbledon, etc. But tennis on a worldwide level, from a gaming action, I'm not saying it's bigger than the National Football League as far as television ratings, etc. But from a gambling angle, because it's year-round, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the second most best bet sport after soccer.
All right, 2 quarterfinal games, Gabriel, in the World Cup tomorrow. 7 German players actually suffering from flu-like symptoms today and before their matchup against France. Is this affecting the betting lines a lot? And you're picking the Brazil-Colombia game as well.
No, you know what? It hasn't, Steph. No, it hasn't. The number hasn't moved in this France-Germany game, despite the rumors of the sickness. Well, not just rumors, but the reports of the sickness. From what I understand, and obviously I'm not there, but I read an interview with Thomas Muller just a couple hours ago, and he said he was feeling a hell of a lot better, that the players are feeling a lot better right now. And I tell you, man, Brazil has just been a terror. It was a great gambling trend, actually, that every team that played in the Amazonian rainforest lost after. There were 8 games, eight games, and only Portugal were the only team when they beat Ghana to actually win a match after playing in the remote part of Brazil. So there's been a lot of that, and a lot of teams have been dealing with sicknesses and mysterious illnesses, etc. And European team has never won on South American soil before, as we know. This match, I picked Germany before the tournament started, but this match is just so damn evenly matched. What a wicked matchup, awesome matchup. This could be the final. This is how good this is. And to my mind, they're so similar. I mean, they're both aggressive. They both have 4 or 5 guys that can put the ball in the net on the pitch at the same time. They both get a lot of scoring opportunities. You could probably argue that France are better better at the midfield. France's midfield has been off the hook, and defensively, France are pretty good as well. And if anything, Germany have been given up chances in this tournament. I picked Germany before the tournament started, so I'm not going to abandon ship right now. But man, this is an evenly matched game, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's 2-2 going into 80 minutes, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's 0-0. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just have no idea, and I hate to admit that I have no idea how this is going to play out. But I'll pick Germany. I'm not going to sit on the fence. I'm going to pick Germany to advance as far as wagering. Germany to advance is -143. And so if they win in penalty kicks or they win in extra time, etc., either way, they advance. Now, I've been doing really well in taking the draws in the World Cup, and I think I'm going to go down this road. I might take both draws tomorrow, little sprinkles in a +250 range. But I think Colombia and Brazil, I think this has high-stakes South American shootout written all over it with penalty kicks and high drama. These two teams are very evenly matched as well, with James Rodriguez and Neymar both up front for the both of them. But the way James has been playing and the way Colombia has been playing, Colombia is the better side. The question is, Colombia is the underdog neighbor. They live next door. They obviously have the inferiority complex when it comes to soccer to Brazil. Are they going to be able to handle the moment? They've been you could argue that Colombia have been the best side in this tournament so far. They've probably been the most consistent side. Even in the game that they didn't need to win, when they put their second team in, they still scored 3 goals. They're cohesive. They're playing with unity. They got a bunch of religious dudes that are being driven by God in their mind. James, to me, is the next Cristiano Ronaldo, mega superstar of soccer. There's a lot to like about this Colombian side. Plus Brazil, they struggle to get scoring opportunities. They've been burying them when they get them. Brazil give up a lot of scoring opportunities. Who on Brazil is really standing out? Hulk has been their best player in this tournament. Fred has been a major disappointment. Neymar's good, but he's small. He's getting beaten up. Colombia are a physical side. I think Colombia will try to rough up Neymar a little bit. And I think Brazil might survive, but I'm going to say this game goes into extra time and then probably penalty kicks as well. So for betting purposes, Germany to advance and Colombia, Brazil draw.
All right, there you go. SportsRageTV.com, SportsRage on Twitter, and FantasySportsNetwork.com in the afternoons. Gabriel, thanks so much. Enjoy the games tomorrow.
Hey, always a pleasure, guys. Have a good one.
All right, there you go. Final segment of Game Points for the evening coming up, and it's time for Game Points, a rendezvous. Our guest in the next segment will be sports journalist Alexis Brudnicki. Stay tuned.